pros that have done very, very well over the years, and trying to find out what it is that I could help share that would provide the most value, perhaps, in terms of how to become a success at this. Now, again, we've all got different ways of defining success, and some of us, it might be $500 dollars a month. It might be $1,000 a month. It might be more time with our family, time and freedom to pursue some of the things we haven't done before, helping other people. Some of us would like all of those things. I watched something recently that was really important, because I talked a little bit last week about tiptoeing, and that some people come in with very realistic expectations that think, well, I'll give it a try and I'll see what happens, et cetera, et cetera. And as I said last week, I think that's a mindset that kind of sets you, me, all of us up for failure, essentially, if we're tiptoeing. What I have found during my research is the secret, if there is one, because there's no one way to do this, but the secret, as I heard it explained, was very simple. Make a decision. Make a decision. You've all, I think, jumped on board as ambassadors, and I think we've all made a certain commitment, but a commitment is not the same as a decision. And a decision is that point that you get to where you are not leaving yourself any options for anything less than achieving your goals and achieving your objectives. I'm a bit of a student of human psychology, so I'd like to talk a little bit about the things that factor into how we make our decisions. What kind of things do we tell ourselves about who we are? What kind of voices do we hear from our past that contribute to who we think we are? What kind of things are holding us back? When you make a decision, you're not giving yourself any out. So what will the decision be? The decision will be to not turn back, not allow yourself to get frustrated, not allow yourself to get disappointed, or experience any of those things to where they literally prevent you from achieving your goals. I would venture to say that most everybody on the Zoom tonight are here for a reason. Now, listen, as I start off all of my little talks, none of us would be here, I don't believe, if we didn't believe in the product. But I know this, we've got an amazing product, top quality, the best, if not one of the best in the world. We've got an amazing company. All of us were blessed with the opportunity when our friends came to us and introduced this to us to get in early. So those things are covered. Those things are handled. But what kind of other things are holding us back? It's important to have goals, but as I've said, goals are if you don't follow that up with a strategy and a tactical plan, goals are just dreams. They're just wishes. And as I say, you're living in the land of, gumdrops, unicorns, and wishful thinking. So what is the decision going to be? You follow up that with what are you willing to do to support that decision? When I mentioned the people that have some very reasonable goals, we'll call them, my question to you would be, why set your bar so low? Why set your sights so low? I have a couple of personal experiences that I've shared in the past. One was, I remember my very first acting class in Los Angeles. I was sitting a nervous wreck with about 25 other students in this class with a very well-known acting teacher. And like I said, I was relatively nervous. And she said to us that very first hour, I'll never forget this, and this was 40 years ago. She said, maybe 10 of you in this class will go on to work as an actor. Maybe just one of you. She goes, I don't know who it is. But my thought at that time was, she's talking about me. I'm the person. I'm the one that's going on to make a living as an actor. Now, not to bore you with too much of my story, but I did. I supported myself as an actor for 20 years. I remember once I had a friend who was a well-known actor that received a drama critics award in Los Angeles and for a stage play that he had done. And I'm like, wow, I want one of those. And the next year, I went out and found a play. I raised $5,000 to produce it, and I performed in it, and I got one of those Drama Theater Critics Awards. By the time I left Hollywood, I had actually gotten 7 of those. My goals were, I wanted to work as an actor. I wanted to get something on TV. I had a play that was developed for pilot presentation for all the networks. I wanted to write a movie that got made. I did. And I look back and I go, you know what? I achieved all of my goals, but I look back and think maybe I should have set my goals a little bit higher. So to the people that have very reasonable goals, why not set the bar a little bit higher? Why not be more of a decision maker? Make a decision about what it is that you want here. Again, we're all product driven. That's why we're here. But we're also here to make money and be compensated, in a potentially, really, really wonderful way. I think sometimes we don't believe in ourselves enough. And that's why a decision is important, to, again, not give yourself an out. We talked about the marshmallow experiment last week. So are you willing to make a decision, do the work now, and get 2 marshmallows a year from now? I'll tell you what my goals are. I've exceeded already in the first 4 months in the business. I exceeded anything that I thought I was going to actually achieve because of my other experience. Now I'm like, you know what? I need to stop talking about that one bad experience, because this opportunity, this business, this company, this comp plan shows me that this far outweighs anything I could have expected from my previous experience. If you have trouble talking to people, if you have trouble coming up with ideas on how to approach people, introduce people to the product and the business, if you're hesitant, if you're still stuck or hung up on the whole direct marketing thing, then I will say to you, then you haven't made a decision. As I said, when you hear some of these really successful guys, they list this as the #1 thing as far as getting a start. Now, again, as time goes on, we'll continue to work on coming up with strategies and all those kinds of things. But you need to make a decision and not really let yourself, have an out. And I think that's really important. A lot of it, I think, also has to do with how much we think that we deserve. Like I said, I'm pretty sure that everybody here, if I asked everybody or took a poll, how many people are here because everything they've done, everything they're now doing is working out for them? We're all looking for, more things, better ways of living, treating ourselves better. Again, whether it's taking vacations, putting money in the bank, buying boats or cars, whatever it is, I'm no judgment here. But we're all here because something that we're doing is not working. And that is the bill of goods that we've been sold, where people are going to work and making a certain amount of money, and they're basically putting money in other people's pockets. And they have to punch a clock, and they have to answer to somebody. And I guarantee you, you're not investing in yourself, you're investing in somebody else. There are a lot of people that like the safety of a paycheck. I'm not suggesting that anybody should go out and quit their job. But I will say, if anybody needs a paycheck, then I'll pay any one of you right now $15 an hour. And if you can go out and sign up 50 people for me in 3 months, let's see, $15 an hour at 600, 2,400, what is it? 6,000, about what, $7,200? I guarantee you I'll pay you $7,200 for going out and getting 50 people. Or you can go out and get 5, 10, 20, 30 people yourself and be rewarded and compensated in a way that's much, much bigger than that. I think it's important that you believe in yourself. I think that it's important that you set your sights high, that you're willing to do some of the work now in order to put yourself in that position, whatever it is that you want. For me, yeah, I am looking for something at this stage in my life that is going to be around for a while, and that possibly will allow me in 10 years to, retire. Although, again, I love what I'm doing. I hope all those things, are possible. But I think you've got to be willing to, make the decision, come up with a strategy, come up with your tactical plan. And when you make the decision, what are you willing to do to make this happen? I hear from people almost on a daily basis about, well, and I think sometimes it's not a question of whether people are invested or I think it's more that they just don't know how to do things. Again, there's a ton of resources on the website now. There are a ton of resources that you can use to educate yourself as far as some different strategies and mindsets with this whole opportunity. I know I'm kind of fumbling a little bit because I really do believe one of my goals, in addition to making money, and I don't mean to sound hokey, but I would love nothing more than a year from now, the people that I've personally introduced to this, the people I've been working with and continue to work with, can come to me and say, thank you. Thank you for introducing me to this, because see where I'm at now, and I would have never gotten there had I not followed through. So I'm kind of tough on some of my people and kind of, don't hesitate to say, what are you doing? Let's get going here. Not in a forceful way. They're not my employees, but I think that they deserve better. And sometimes people shortchange themselves. So it comes down to making a decision and believing in yourself. That's pretty much it, I think, for tonight, as far as that topic. Although I encourage people to go spend 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes alone when we're off the Zoom conference and think about the decision. Think about what it is that you want. Everything else is secondary. The skills to become a successful direct marketer are available. They're teachable. You can learn them. As long as you don't continue to saddle yourself with self-doubt and fear, or are afraid of looking awkward, or having your friends think this or think that. Like I said, you've got to have some faith in yourself here, and you've got to figure out whose voice are you going to listen to. Are you going to listen to your own voice, or are you going to listen to some of the other voices that you've heard from your friends? I wrote a play.
I was told that it was.
I wrote a play many years ago called "Is There Life After Birth?" And the play is about what happens to us and the things we're taught when we're very, very young in our formative years, the way we carry those things throughout our lives. And it's a concept that I'm well familiar with because I've carried, voices and self-limiting beliefs with me my entire life. And it's been a challenge for me. But when you make a decision to break free of the doubts and the fears, and you make a decision that you deserve better, this is the opportunity. This is it. If somebody were to say to me a couple of years ago, what would be the hardest part about something like this? I'd say, well, you need to have a great product, you need to have a good company, and you need to get in early. As I said, those things, everybody on this Zoom conference right now, imagine being in the top couple of hundred of Rodan and Fields when this takes off, okay? So you've all made the commitment. Let's all make the decision. Let's all make the decision to do what we can. If you've got 2 hours a day, use it. If you've got 8 hours a day, you're doing this full time, use it. I want to say something with regard to last week. I mentioned Billy to all of you, and I said that Billy had made over $20,000, and this is not a claim. I've seen his back office, as I've said. Billy has made considerably more than $20,000 since we started this in June. As it turns out, between commissions and bonuses, Billy has made over $40,000. That's a lot of money. I'm not quite there, but I've also done very, very well in 4 months. It's possible. It is absolutely possible. So the question you need to ask yourself, knowing that this is an industry, a space, direct marketing with a good product that makes millionaires, why not you? Why not you? And that's what you have to ask yourself when you're making the decision. And the decision doesn't mean going out and beating people up over the head. It means being proud of what we're doing and looking at the opportunity that you're introducing them to. If they're not interested, let them go. But I will tell you, this is something that we all should be proud of as far as not only the product, but the best comp plan in the industry. Anyway, if anybody has any questions about that or thoughts or comments, I encourage you to speak up and let's talk some more about this. If not, like I said, I don't want to get into product stuff tonight. Lindy and Victoria will be having a product Zoom every week now, which allows us to talk a little bit more about some of the practical aspects of the business on Tuesday nights. And so I encourage you to reach out and find out what their link is to join into that. If anybody has anything that they'd like to say or share, otherwise I say tonight, go be with yourself and make a decision. And know that you deserve better than what we're all getting at the moment. Anybody?
Jeff, do you want me to touch on some thoughts?
Sure.
I think what you hit on is so inspirational right there. And it is all about setting goals. And everybody's going to have different goals. And I love the way that you said that. It is important. The biggest thing for me is just to focus on one at a time and set that goal. And I like what you said about setting that bar a little higher. It gives you something to reach for rather than just something to meet. It's all about meeting and exceeding. The way that I lay out goals is 1 month, 6 months, 1 year, 5 year, and an end goal. Something similar to in 1 month, maybe your goal is to cover your simple ship and double your initial investment. That's something that is reachable and definitely workable there. 6 months, maybe it's that you want to be making $450 a weekly residual income. That's possible or more. I've seen it happen. Maybe at 1 year you want to buy yourself a new car and you'd be making $1,650 a week. That's $85,800 a year, extra money there. So there's ways to go through, and I just want to give you guys some examples because I do think it's so important. And I'm very goal driven. As a lot of you seen, my background on my phone is a yacht. Someday I want to have a big old yacht in the middle of the ocean, and I think with Reaction we can do that. The biggest thing that stands out is be your own boss. How special is that? That you can wake up in the morning. If you feel like you're going to sleep in an extra 20 minutes today, you have earned that right. That is something pretty important. So just be your own boss. The next thing is believe. Jeff always mentioned about believing and believing yourself and believing the products and everything that you have that you're working for. Just believe. And the last thing that I want to end with on my spot, and I don't want to get this too drug out because I think tonight was powerful and to the point. And as Jeff mentioned, we want to leave you with a good positive note. But each morning as I'm waking up and driving to work, I'm searching for inspirational quotes, something that's going to drive me to win that day. And it's all about it, taking advantage of each day, one at a time, and doing the best that you can to knock that day out of the park. So go on your Facebook, post some inspirational things every morning, and that'll get you going. So I don't want to get too far out there. Jeff, you're the man, buddy. We really appreciate it. And is there anybody else that has something, as Jeff mentioned? No?
Yes,
Melody, what you got?
I'm just loving the feedback I'm getting from, I have a lot of people in California and I'm just now getting them involved. I just had a friend who had a double mastectomy today, and I'm going to definitely hook her up with pain stuff. And she is so positive.
That's awesome.
It is awesome, and it's, again, the way you can help people is it's more than just one thing. Helping people with health issues like this, and we have testimonies, like we mentioned the page. There are almost too many. I stopped talking about them because there are so many of them. But I also know people that can benefit from this opportunity in other, in other ways. Again, self-doubt is crippling. And we're taught that if it's too good to be true, it usually is. And we're taught to expect less. And we're taught to trudge along, getting up, going to work for somebody else. Where's your joy? Where's your passion? So if your passion doesn't just solely lie with introducing the product to people, then, you know, while you're doing that, you can make a little bit of money. And it's a lot easier to have money than it isn't. It's not the key to happiness, but it's the things that money can allow you to do. It's the freedom that you have. So if you have a passion, if you want to go help, you know, starving children, could you do that right now? If you sat down right now and made a list of the things that are important to you, the things that matter, the things that you're passionate about as a human being, how many of those things can be attained or achieved doing what you're doing right now? Probably not many. Maybe not any at all. So I believe we're all led to different things in life for different reasons. You should reach out and talk to the people that brought you into this opportunity and say thank you, because this is a way, and this is not a question of what might happen. This is a question of what will happen over time if you stick to this and make a decision about what's important to you. And I just, you know, I hope I'm not rambling. I just, like I said, kind of speaking from the heart tonight. And I know, again, how crippling it is to have doubts and beliefs about yourself and to care about what your friends think and to care about what other people. Let me tell you something. I have friends that kind of shrugged their shoulders and left 4 months ago. But I tell you what, if they knew how much money I was making at the moment, I think they might come to be singing a different tune. And again, it's not the money. I've had, as I've said to all of you about my story, I've had a lot in my life and I've had nothing. I've had, like I said, a house on the lake. And I will tell you that I didn't get up in the morning and feel any better about myself because I could point to a tree and say I own that. That didn't make me feel better. Some of you, I also talked about my story a little bit, that 8 years ago, after the economy, about 10 years ago actually, after the economy collapsed, I lost my business. I went through a very difficult divorce and lost everything. And some of my good friends know this, not everybody does, but I wound up living in a complete dump in Atlanta. I had no money. I remember going through my golf bag looking for change to get something to eat. I didn't tell my family about this. I just kind of disappeared for a while. I was getting up in the morning to take 2 trains and 2 buses to work at 5:30 to go to work in a friend's appliance warehouse for $15 an hour. And I was taking the same 2 trains and the same 2 buses to get home at 7:30 at night. Now, I'd love to say, people say, wow, that's amazing that you did that. And I didn't have a choice, to be honest with you. I did what I had to do. So that's a perfect example of a decision. Now, it wasn't a conscious decision, but it was a decision nonetheless. A decision was made for me. I think one of the other things that regard decisions is that we all have a lot of options. There's a lot of distractions. So how focused can you be when you make a decision based on the fact that we all deserve better? You know, you wanna. I think at my age, I've learned that, you know, happiness and contentment and fulfillment are 3 very, very different things. And my saying is, if you want to be happy, look in, and if you want to be fulfilled, act out. And so that's why I feel compelled to talk about these decisions and not making decisions for other people, introducing them to this, the product and also the business, because you might wind up being a godsend. You never know why you're put in somebody's life. Anyway, I started rambling again. Billy?
I love it, bud. That's good. And I do want to share a little something. I'm working on making you guys' job a little bit easier as far as talking with people about joining your journey. So I'm going to talk with Jeff. I'm not going to give you too many details here, but I do think it's something that we can incorporate into next week's Zoom. It's a little project that I've been working on and trying to figure out how to capture everything that I do and put it on paper. It's very hard, and most of the time that old saying about winging it comes into play when you speak from the heart and just using passion. So I think I've almost got it completed, and I want to be able to share that with you guys. And if it's something that you can use, great. If not, that's okay too. Everybody's got different methods of madness to this. Use it as your own. But I just want to be able to share that with you. So I think I'm pretty pumped up. I hope everyone is as well. I hope you're looking forward to doing these Zoom meetings each week because it is inspirational. And as always, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. I know a lot of you don't take us up on this offer, but the offer is always on the table. If you need help, reach out. And remember, as Jeff always says, how do you phrase it, Jeff? This is not a sprint; it's a journey. Is that the way that you phrase this?
No,
This
it's
is
somebody else's
just the
quote.
beginning. But
It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah, a marathon, not a sprint. It's not about getting rich tomorrow and retiring. This is about building a future.
No, but
You're
it's
in
also
the
about
catbird
believing
seat.
in yourself, knowing you deserve better. One of my sayings, and maybe we can end it on this, is settling for mediocrity is a crime. Aiming for it is a sin.
Yes,
That's my own
I love
personal
it.
little.
So
personal-
let's do a giveaway before we forget to do that.
That's
So
right.
we're gonna
I've
be
got
giving
it.
away a shirt and a hat again tonight. I hope everybody stuck around through all of our talking here. Jeff, you got those? You want me to do some drum roll for you, buddy?
Give me a drum roll there, Billy.
Yes.
First of all, the winner of the shirt, and it's because you deserve it, Roxy Kramer. You're still with us?
Congratulations, Roxy.
Is the winner of the
Let's
shirt.
see.
And we have somebody else that won the hat, but we don't know what her last name is. But she's on here as Taylor's Phone. So Taylor, are you here, or Taylor's Phone? Are you still with us?
They're still with us. I think that might be Taylor Vitale.
Okay.
We'll have to check on that. But Taylor's Phone, please reach out to us.
Right.
Send
She
us a message.
was on at the end when we did the drawing, so
She's still on here now. So congratulations, guys. Again, the way that I look at this, the more you're getting the brand out there, pumping reaction, the easier your job's gonna be. So thank you, and go to your back office and get you a polo and a t-shirt.
Let's have a great week. Believe in yourselves. You deserve better. Good night, everybody.
All right. Good night, guys.